Welcome to the Feminine Lead podcast, where the purpose is to empower female leaders and executives to live and lead uninhibited by providing highly valuable content that will assist them on their journey to wholeness. I'm Chantal Dantu, a master leadership and depth coach. If you'd like to know more about what I do, please pop into my website, thefemininelead.com. So here we are again at the beginning of yet another year, and if you're anything like me, you are probably super excited about what this year holds. So I know that the 1st of January is technically just another day, but honestly, the new year just feels so ripe with potential for me, and I find myself ready to set so many goals and intend to do whatever it takes to crush them. I'm sure many of you listening can relate, and if you are nodding along, I bet you can also relate to looking back at the previous year, feeling a little exhausted, disappointed, frustrated, and maybe even borderline angry for not achieving everything that you wanted to. And why? Because you probably spent so much time fighting an internal battle you wish wasn't there, a battle you felt too ashamed to even acknowledge most of the time, because acknowledging it would potentially mean that you're weak, that you lack fortitude, that you don't have what it takes to really achieve your goals or your dreams. So I'm here today to tell you that there is a better way, that internal struggle isn't what you think, and that potentially you have been focusing your energy in all the wrong places. Over and above us discussing this today, I'm going to be challenging some of the normal ways of thinking around goal setting and achieving what you want. And by the end of this episode, I will have given you 5 practical ways to stop fighting yourself this year so that you can honestly apply yourself and move towards what you want to do. I've also prepared a free downloadable working document for you, and we'll give you details at the end of this episode on how to access it. So please stick with me. Trust me, it will be super helpful, and I think that resource will be really helpful too. So let's dive in. So first off, you need to understand that the more you reach, the more you resist. And let me say that again, because it's crucial. The bigger the change you are trying to create, the stronger the internal pushback you are going to feel. So this isn't evidence that you are broken or not cut out for big things. This is actually just how your nervous system is designed to work. So think of it this way. If I asked you to change something relatively small, so let's say eat one healthy meal a day, you might feel a tiny bit of resistance, maybe you forget a few times, maybe it feels slightly inconvenient, but it's not a big deal, and you could probably implement that change without much internal drama. Why? Because your nervous system barely registers that as a threat. So your identity stays mostly intact, your daily routines mostly stay the same, there is minimal risk to who you are and therefore minimal resistance. But what if I asked you to leave your corporate job or start your own business or end a relationship that's been holding you back, maybe apply for that dream job, or finally put yourself out there in a way that makes you visible and thus vulnerable? Now we are talking about real life change, life-altering change, the kind that would fundamentally shift who you are and how you live. So what happens is that your brain has a threat detection system whose primary job is to keep you alive, not to make you happy. And to your nervous system, familiar equals safe and unfamiliar equals a threat. So when you attempt a major transformation, your threat detector system doesn't disguise between good change and bad change. It just knows that something is different, and it activates your body's entire stress response as if you are facing physical danger. So this isn't a character flaw. This is simply your biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. And also everybody really struggles with this. So when you are attempting major transformation, your nervous system treats that as unknown, as dangerous, and it sets off every internal alarm that you have. So you get fear, doubt, worry, and procrastination. And it becomes this massive cocktail of what you believe is self-created things that are stopping you, but really it isn't. It's just being generated from that place. So your mind and even your body will generate excuses and responses. So you may feel anxious, your body may feel tight, maybe you could even feel physically ill. You will probably find yourself incredibly busy all of a sudden. You'll even doubt yourself in ways that you have never thought of before, and you may even sabotage your own efforts without even consciously realizing that you are doing this. So again, the bigger the change, the more your identity has to shift. And the more your identity shifts, the louder your nervous system is going to scream danger. And that is the resistance that you're experiencing. So it's very important to know that your resistance will increase in proportion to the potential change or impact on your life. So it is never about willpower or worthiness. It is simply about the nervous system being wired that way. Small change equals small identity shift, and thus small perceived threat, therefore small resistance. Big change equals big identity shift, Big perceived threat, thus big resistance. So when you are considering life-altering transformation, your entire identity is being broken down and potentially reconstructed, and thus massive perceived threat will ensue, and you will have therefore massive overwhelming resistance. So this is why New Year's resolutions feel so hard, because you're not just trying to change one small habit. You're often trying to fundamentally transform who you are at your core, and the system is just responding accordingly. So this is where most people go wrong. They interpret that massive resistance as evidence that they're on the wrong path, that they are not capable of doing what they are setting out to do, and they go back to what's comfortable. But what if that resistance is actually confirmation that you're reaching for something that is big enough to matter? What if it's your system way of saying, whoa, this is really serious, this is real change, and we need to pay attention here? So the resistance isn't the problem. How you relate to that resistance, that is everything. So the first way to stop fighting yourself this year is to realize that resistance isn't your enemy, it is information. When you feel that massive pushback, that heavy feeling, that voice screaming, turn back, that is not evidence that you are failing. That is your system telling you how significant the change actually is. So the bigger the resistance, the bigger the transformation on the other side. So stop interpreting resistance as a stop sign and start seeing it as a measuring stick for how much of your life is about to shift if you stick with it. Which brings me to the second way to stop fighting yourself this year. Reframe the relationship you have with resistance. So now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, I get it intellectually. Resistance is information, it's normal, but I still hate feeling it. So how do I actually work with it instead of against it? So I'm going to share 5 practices with you that have completely shifted how I relate to resistance, both in my own life and also in the work that I do with clients. So the first one is acknowledge and accept that the resistance is perfectly normal. And it sounds really simple, but it's profound. When that wave of resistance hits, and it will, your first instinct is probably to either push it down, so you shouldn't feel this way, or let it stop you completely. This means that I should quit. So when that happens, instead try this, just acknowledge it. Okay, so resistance is here, high resistance, without judgment or trying to fight it. Just allow it to be there. And what then happens is when you simply allow it to exist without judging it, you somehow create space for it to allow a completely different perspective to take shape. So you stop being at war with yourself, and paradoxically, when you stop fighting the resistance, it often loses its grip on you. Number 2, get curious about why that resistance is showing up for you and what it's protecting you from. So ask yourself, why is this level of resistance showing up, and what is it trying to protect me from here? So here's what's actually happening. When you are triggered by the thought of a big change, your psyche is actually seeing this new experience through the lens of your past experiences. So there is something familiar here, some old wounds, some previous failure, some pattern that you don't want to repeat. So dig deeper. What experience are you afraid of recreating? What happened before that you are trying to avoid happening again? Is there something that you need to work through, unpack, release, or understand better before you can move forward? So sometimes the resistance is telling you there is healing work to be done first, and that is really valuable information. Number 3, move towards the fear and not around it. As Joseph Campbell said, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So moving through fear is very different from white-knuckling your way past it. It's also different from pretending that it doesn't exist and forcing your way forward anyway. So I'd love to teach you a practice that I use with my clients all the time. So you're going to go and find a place of stillness, and you are going to write down every single fear that comes up for you when you consider that change. Then for each of those fears, ask yourself 2 questions. Why would it be so bad if that happened? And what would I make it mean about me? Then take it deeper. And why would that be so bad? And what would I make that mean? And keep going. Take it down as many levels as you can until you can't go any further. And then you're closer to the root cause of what is really showing up. So I'm afraid my business will fail might actually be, I'm afraid I'll prove I'm not capable, or I'm afraid I'll lose everything and end up alone. That's the real fear driving that resistance. And once you see it clearly, you can work with it. If you struggle to do this alone, that's completely okay. This is the kind of work that you will do with a coach, and it's the kind of work that I do with the clients that work with me. Number 4, consider the past from a place of truth. So your mind is incredibly good at predicting disaster. It will tell you exactly how everything is going to fall apart in vivid detail with complete certainty. So here's what I want you to consider. How many times has your mind told you things will work out in a certain way to the T, to the exact detail, to the exact letter, and it actually happened that way? Probably never, right? So why would that part of you suddenly be correct in assuming what's possible now? The truth is your resistance can only see through the lens of your past experience. It can't imagine past anything that hasn't already happened to you. So it will tell you everything is going to go wrong, and here's the reality check. If you actually look back at your life, you will probably find out that most things have really worked out better, not worse. Your mind's disaster predictions have a terrible track record, so stop giving them so much weight. Number 5, reframe resistance as an indicator of possibility. What if resistance isn't a warning that things will go wrong? What if it's actually an indicator of what could be possible? So think about it. The bigger the resistance, the bigger potential transformation on the other side of that. So here's what I want you to do. You are going to write down what could be possible if that change works out. And I want you to be really specific. So let yourself imagine it. And instead of focusing on how things could fail, which your mind is already going to do automatically, ask yourself a different question. What if it doesn't fail? What if it works out even better than I can imagine right now? Your resistance is already writing the disaster story in great detail. You may as well write the possibility story with equal conviction. Great. The third way to stop fighting yourself this year is to examine whether you are truly aligned with what you're trying to create. And what I mean by that is, does your belief system support it, or does it need to be challenged or modified? Because the hard truth is that you cannot actually perform past your belief system, well, not for long anyway. You can initially white knuckle your way through for a short time, forcing yourself forward, but sooner or later your unconscious beliefs, the ones that you're not even aware you're carrying, win the battle. So how do you know what beliefs are running the show? I'm going to give you 5 ways to identify them. First, look at your assumptions. Those fears and stories you wrote down in the previous section, every single one of them is pointing to a belief that is already running in the background. So when you assume that you'll lose everything, that could be pointing to an underlying belief of, I'm not capable of rebuilding, or there's never enough. So security is scarce. When your story is people will judge me, that might be revealing a belief that says my worth depends on what others think of me, or being myself isn't safe. These assumptions didn't come from nowhere. They're the surface expression of beliefs that have been operating for years, maybe even decades. So your assumptions are breadcrumbs leading you to the beliefs that need to be examined. Secondly, notice your emotional patterns and the language you use. Your emotions and words are both messages giving you information about what you believe at a deeper level. So let's start with the emotions. If you feel a pang of guilt when you think about pursuing your dream, that might point to the belief that I don't deserve this, or it's selfish to want more. If you feel shame when you think about being visible, that could reveal a belief that I'm not good enough, or I'll be exposed as a fraud. If you feel anxiety about success, that might indicate a belief that I can't handle what comes with it, or I'll lose myself if I change. The emotion is the surface. The belief is underneath. And here's where the language come in, because the words that you use habitually really reinforce those beliefs. So do you say, I'll try, or I will? Do you say, I can't, or I haven't figured things out yet? Do you say, I'm bad at this, or I'm still learning? So every time you say, I'm not a morning person, or I'm terrible with money, or I mess things up, you're declaring a belief and reinforcing it at the same time. So pay attention to both your feelings and your phrases. They are showing you what is operating beneath the surface. Third, examine your actions, or more importantly, your inaction. This is the most honest indicator. You can honestly aspire to anything. You can say you believe that you're worthy of success. You can claim that you're ready for the next level. But when it comes time to actually take that next step, what happens? This is where you need to get really brutally honest and ask yourself, why am I not taking steps? Why am I not taking action? Because underneath that procrastination, the perfectionism, the waiting for the right time, there is usually a belief around safety or visibility. So maybe you're keeping your business idea in the planning phase forever because taking it to the next level or making it public would mean that you are visible, and visibility feels dangerous. That might point to a belief like it's not safe to be seen, or if they really knew me, they'd reject me. Maybe you don't apply for that promotion because stepping into that level of leadership would mean being more visible in your company, and that could reveal a belief that says I'm safer playing small, or attention means criticism. Maybe you don't post about your work on social media, don't share your wins, don't put yourself forward for opportunities, and you tell yourself that that's actually humility. But what if it's actually a belief that says visibility equals vulnerability, or if I succeed, I'll lose something important? Your repeated inaction, especially when you know what you should be doing, is showing you exactly where your belief system is keeping you stuck. So ask yourself, What action have I been avoiding? And what would taking that action make me? More visible, less in control, less safe? That's where your limiting belief lives. Fourthly, consider what your parents taught you. This one is really huge. So much of what you believe about money, about success, about relationships, about what's possible for you is what you absorbed before you were even old enough to question it. So what did your parents believe about money, about work, about ambition, about visibility, about what people like you are capable of? If your mother always said money doesn't grow on trees or rich people are greedy, guess what belief system you might be carrying? If your father believed that hard work is the only honest way or dreaming big is foolish, those beliefs might be running your show right now. So sometimes the beliefs holding you back aren't even yours, they are the inherited beliefs, and until you examine them consciously, they will keep operating unconsciously. Fifth, look at what you tolerate. What you accept in your life shows what you believe you deserve. So, are you tolerating a relationship where you are not valued? That reveals a belief about your worth. Are you accepting less money than you know you're worth? That shows a belief about scarcity or your value. Are you allowing people to disrespect your time and your boundaries? That indicates a belief that others' needs matter more than yours. Your tolerance level is a direct reflection of your belief system. When you truly believe you deserve better, you stop accepting less. The fourth way to stop fighting yourself this year is to do the actual work of shifting those beliefs. So now that you've identified the beliefs that you're holding back, the question becomes, how do I actually change them? So first, you need to understand something crucial. Rewiring those neural pathways takes time. You didn't build them overnight. You have been forming them and reinforcing them over your entire lifetime through your childhood experiences, your parents' teachings, your failures, your successes, every message you've absorbed about who you are and what is possible for you. So shifting them, that is going to happen over time, not in a workshop over a weekend, not in reading one book. It is actually going to take consistent, deliberate practice, and here is how you do it. So step one, acknowledge that your beliefs are misaligned. You've already done the identification work. Now you need to be honest about the fact that these beliefs are running in the background, counter to what you were trying to create. So name them, write them down, make them conscious. Step two, learn to observe your thoughts in real time without judgment. This is where the real work happens. So in that moment where limiting belief shows up, and it will, your job is not to fight it or shame yourself for having it. Your job is to notice it. So you can think to yourself, oh, here's that thought again, I can never do this. Don't resist it, don't judge yourself for thinking it, just observe it like you're watching a cloud pass by. Then, and this is key, offer it a different perspective. Not to argue with it, not to force it away, but to gently introduce another possibility. So when this thought comes up, I can never do this, respond, that's not true. I can do anything I set my mind to. I've done hard things before and I can do this too. Or when I'm not good enough shows up, that's just a belief, not a truth. I'm learning and growing every day. You're not trying to convince yourself you're perfect. You're just introducing the possibility that your automatic thought isn't the only available truth. Step three is to get support. So this work can sometimes be hard to do alone. You could do it with a coach like me, or find a coach or a therapist that can help you really identify patterns that you can't see for yourself and hold space for you to do this deeper transformational work. So someone who can catch you when you're running old patterns and gently redirect you. Someone who believes in your capacity to change, even when you don't believe it yourself yet. Step four, use active practices to reinforce those new beliefs. So for me, the foundational thing here is to learn how to be present first and foremost, because when it is that we are present, that creates the greatest space between stimulus and response. So you can actually catch that limiting belief as it arises, pause, and choose a different response. So without presence, you're really acting on autopilot and being run from those old belief systems. So things that you can use to do that is really to do mindfulness, meditation, those types of things. They really train your brain to be present in that moment. Inner body awareness is also a really great way to do that. So it is a tool that really works exceptionally well. The next thing that really works well is visualization and affirmation. So these aren't woo-woo nonsense. They are tools for literally rewiring your brain. So visualize yourself succeeding, feel what it feels like in your body, use affirmations not as a magical rethinking, but as intentional reprogramming. So speaking the new belief until your nervous system starts to recognize it as possible. And then most importantly, take the action that contradicts the old belief system. If your belief is I'm not capable, take the small actions to prove you are. If your belief is it is not safe to be visible, practice being visible in small, manageable ways. So action is the most powerful belief shifter there is, because every time you act in alignment with a new belief, you're creating evidence for your brain that the old belief isn't true. So here's what you need to remember. Your thoughts are not truths, they are information. That limiting belief that keeps showing up is giving you information about what needs to be healed, what needs to be challenged, and what needs to be shifted. But it is not the final word on what it is that you are capable of. The work is to catch those thoughts, observe them without judgment, offer a different perspective, and then act in ways that reinforce the belief that you are building. It is slow, it is deliberate, it takes time, but it is actually how you change. And trust me, it is so worthwhile doing the work. The fifth way to stop fighting yourself this year is to ensure that you are truly in resonance with that which you are wanting to create. And what I mean by that is being honest enough to ask yourself the question, is this actually my dream? Is it something that I want? Or is it something that I've adopted to please other people? If your why isn't authentically yours, if it is not rooted deep enough in what truly matters to you, you are going to hit walls. And that might be why it is that you failed previously too. So it's not about lack of capability or willpower, it's because something within you knows that it isn't for you. Simon Sinek talks about starting with why, and there's a reason that concept is so incredibly powerful. Your why is what sustains you when things get hard, when that resistance shows up, when those limiting beliefs kick in, when the work feels overwhelming. Your why needs to be the thing that carries you through. So here is the thing. If that why is external, if it's about proving something to your father or making other people think you're successful because everyone says this is something that you should want, it is not going to be strong enough. You can push for a while, but you will eventually burn out or self-sabotage because deep down, you are not doing it for you. So here is an exercise I want you to do. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Write that down. Be honest. Then ask again, why is that important to me? Then go down deeper again. And why does that matter? And keep going down, peeling back those layers until you can't go any further, until you hit the core reason that feels true in your body, not just in your logical mind. So let me give you an example of what this could look like. I want to start my own business. Why? Because I want financial freedom. Why is that important? Because I don't want to worry about money. Why does that matter? Because I want security. Why do you want security? Because I grew up poor and I don't want to feel that vulnerability again. So there it is. The real why isn't about business or freedom. It's about healing a wound around scarcity, safety, and vulnerability. So now ask yourself, is starting a business the best path to healing, or have I convinced myself it is because that's what successful people do? Maybe it's the right path, or maybe you need to work with your relationship with money or security. Now, what if you discover the root reason doesn't actually resonate with you? You can actually shift that, but you need to reframe it in a way that it is about you. So it will take a little bit of work. One exercise that I suggest is to write a strong why statement that evokes emotion. So not a logical statement about what you want to achieve, but something that really moves you at your core, something that makes you feel it in your body when you read it. So for instance, instead of I want to be promoted to VP, your why statement might become, I'm building a career that reflects my true capabilities so I can finally see myself the way others already see me. Instead of I want financial freedom, it becomes, I'm creating security for myself so that no one can take that away, so that I never have to feel small or powerless again. Write it, feel it, make it yours. Okay. So let's say you've done the why drill and your reason is genuinely yours. It's rooted, it's true, it resonates. Now you need to ask, do I actually have what I need to make this happen? So it's not about perfection. You don't need everything figured out before you start, but you do need to honestly assess a few things. Do you have the support you need? Who is in your corner? Do I have people that believe in my vision? Who will catch me when I stumble? Or am I trying to do this completely alone because asking for help feels like weakness? So do I have the skills that I need? Am I willing to learn them, right? These are very crucial questions. You don't need to be an expert on day one. You do need to be honest about what you don't know and be willing to learn it, hire it, outsource it, or partner with somebody that has it. So the next question, Am I willing to do the inner work that this will require? So every big external change requires some kind of internal transformation. Remember, we spoke about that before. There is going to be resistance. So are you willing to face your limiting beliefs, to sit with that discomfort, to keep showing up even when it gets hard? And does this align with your actual value system? So not the values you think you should have, not your parents' values, not society's values, your values. Because if this goal conflicts with what you are truly valuing, you are going to sabotage it every single time. If you answer no to any of these questions, that's not a reason to quit. It's information about what needs to be built first, or what it is that needs to be reframed. So, as Kathy Heller says in her incredible book, Abundance Ever After, I highly recommend. It is important for you to remember what to remember. So I'm going to recap these 5 ways to stop fighting yourself this year. So way 1, realize that resistance isn't your enemy, it is information. So stop treating it as a stop sign and start seeing it as a measuring stick for how much your life is going to shift. Number 2, reframe your relationship with resistance. Acknowledge it without judgment, get curious about what it's protecting you from, move towards the fear, question the disaster stories your mind is telling you, and reframe the resistance as an indicator of possibility. Number 3, examine whether you are truly aligned with what you're trying to create by identifying your limiting beliefs. Look at your assumptions, notice your emotional patterns and language, examine your actions and inaction, and consider what your parents taught you and also what it is that you're tolerating. Number 4, do the actual work on shifting those beliefs. So acknowledge the misalignment, observe the thoughts without judgment, and offer them a different perspective. Get support and use active presence practices that will reinforce these new beliefs through action. And then number 5, ensure that you're in resonance with what you want to create. So drill down to find your authentic why, reframe it, make it truly yours, and make sure that you have the support structures in place to actually make that happen. So I've created that free downloadable working document for you. It is going to take you through these 5 ways. You can access it by popping onto my website, thefemininelead.com/free workbook. You can download it there for free, and it will actually take you through all of these steps.